Best motivation letter video? Yes, best motivation letter video. And this is something which I did not say, but you did. One of the oldest and the most watched video onto my YouTube channel is how to write a good motivation letter, which can increase your chances of getting into your dream university and program. But that video was made 4 years ago, and now it's time for a fresh video with fresh knowledge on how to write a good motivation letter for your dream university. So let's get into it. So first, let's start asking the question, what is a motivation letter? Motivation letter is also called statement of purpose, and it is a document which is used to determine your professional competence and your personal motivation of a particular study field at a particular university. And this document should be personalized to you. Why is this document important? Is because it is the basis of your selection. For example, candidates with similar achievements are given priority on basis of their motivation letter. आप सिर्फ एक नए स्टूडेंट ही नहीं, बल्कि you are going from a new country, and especially if you are Desi. You are already facing a lot of competition from India, Pakistan and Bangladesh, so a good motivation letter can really set you apart. To start to write a motivation letter, we need to divide it into 3 main steps. The first step is to plan our motivation letter, then to structure, then to start writing it, and then to iterate it. In step 1, definitely before you start to write, you should plan. And you have to answer 3 main questions. The first is why this course, second is why you, and third is why this university. In question 1 of why this course, you have to answer that if you want to study computer science, why you want to study computer science. If you want to study MBBS, why you want to study MBBS. What is your story behind it? Just for me, बचपन से I was very much into problem solving, and I found technology very attractive. And that's why I choose computer science. The second question is about why you. Here you have to talk about what is your passion. Maybe you want to give back to your country. Maybe you have a revolutionary idea. Maybe you have a personal goal or a motivation, or maybe something which drives you. The second part which you have to answer is what do you have to offer. For example, CS तो बहुत सारे लोग कर रहे हैं, but आप में ऐसा क्या है which really sets you apart? What do you have to offer to the university, and what value will you add into their institution? And the third question is why specifically this university? Amongst many of the other universities which might be offering similar courses, what attracts you here? Why this university should choose you, and what is your aim to take away from this institute? Maybe they have some special courses or maybe some extracurriculars. Once you have made your plan, now is the time to structure the motivation letter. And in my opinion, you can divide your structure to 3 main parts. The first is introduction, second is the main body, and third is the conclusion. The introduction needs to be an argumentative statement or maybe a paragraph. It needs to be direct and precise, and also it should talk about your passion and motto of your life. Go into question about why this intrigues you and where do your interests lie. There could be many strategies on how to start to write your motivation letter. Here are some of the examples. You can start something like my passion for medicine started when something. Or maybe you can talk about I want to be a doctor because something. I have been a part of this computer science group for 1 year and it has been the thing for me because ting. Or maybe you can say I remember once when I was into somewhere and I saw some people and that really intrigued me. Computer science resonates with me because of something. And last but not the least, what distinguishes me from my peers is I have a YouTube channel, which you should definitely like and subscribe. The second part is the main body, and here you have to talk about 5 main points. These points written here are not in any specific order. In academics, you can talk about 2 main things, intercurricular and supracurricular. Intercurricular are studies which are course-related theoretical studies. In this section, you can talk about the various subjects which you might have studied in your field, and amongst these courses, you should talk about why these courses specifically attracted you, and maybe what potential does this course has, or maybe the scope. For example, in computer science, I like data science and AI. The second part in academics is supracurricular. Here you have to talk about some real-life implementations which you might have done. For example, you did some projects, some presentations, and you have to reflect how they helped you and what did you learn from them. And adding on, you can add how it complements your academic knowledge. For example, if you're a software developer and you design a prototype for an app, it might teach you how to design a user interface, and maybe you can also talk about linking backend and the front end. And since the schools already have your transcripts, so please don't talk about your grades, percentages, and things like these. Maybe you can talk about something which gave you an edge. For example, you were a top student at your university. The second point is about your work experience. And in work experience, you have to be very specific. specific because you are already attaching your resume with your application. So instead, you should talk about your specific experiences. For example, you worked in a team of a certain project and how you help in organizing and supervising the project. Second is reflect. What did you learn from this experience? For example, if you worked in a team, you developed interpersonal skills. You worked as a team lead, so you developed leadership skills. And maybe you worked in an emergency situation, and here you develop problem solving and critical thinking skills. Once you have done this, you have to talk about understanding the practical implementation of this, and you have to connect what you learned in school with what you learned from these experiences. The next part is about your extracurriculars. Maybe you did some sports. What sport did you play? At what level did you play? Did you win anything? Maybe you took part in some debates, some public speaking, and what they were about. Maybe some technology related, environmental related, maybe politics, and did you win anything? And maybe you did some volunteer work. For example, you took part in fundraising, charities, or maybe you worked at an hospital. The fourth part, what will you do after graduation? Maybe you have a special job you are aiming for, or maybe you want to return your home country and serve there, or maybe you have a special aim. So please talk about it. The last section is the secret ingredient, and the secret ingredient is that you should know about the university and the city. Add some facts about the university, that as a student, how will it help you? Add specific details like maybe history, student clubs, some special courses which they teach, maybe talk about some facilities, and you can also talk about some specific things about the country and the city. Maybe you have some activities over there, maybe they have some touristic site, or maybe some special history. And last but not the least, I have some tips for you for the main body. Here, please be unique. Amongst hundreds of motivation letters, how could yours stand out? Everybody might be applying with similar experiences and qualification. So you have to talk in a way that the reader should read till the end. Second is create a flow, a story-like flow, so that the reader is hooked to your motivation letter. And the transitions between points should be smooth and not forced. And do not make a list. And last, align your objectives. Your motivation letter should revolve around the objective, your experiences and achievements, and all of the points should mirror the objective, and it will give the strength to your story. This video is incomplete without our sponsors Academic Solvers, and as the name suggests, ये आपकी academic queries और troubles को solve कर सकते हैं at a reasonable price, and obviously excellent quality of services. This service is mainly aimed for students जो बाहर तालीम हासिल करना चाहते हैं and are struggling on what their steps should be. So one, these guys provides consultancy if you want to study abroad, and number two is कि अगर आपको अपना motivation letter check करवाना हो या लिखे हुए को improve या revise करवाना हो, बल्कि if you are completely struggling तो आप अपना motivation letter completely इनसे लिखवा भी सकते हैं. इसके अलावा ये IELTS के writing sections भी check करते हैं, वीजा एप्लीकेशंस के लिए कवर लेटर्स भी लिखते हैं, और लेटर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन लेटर्स के टेम्पलेट्स भी भेजते हैं. जैसे मुझ जैसे बहुत सारों के मोटिवेशन लेटर्स जो कि स्पेसिफिक कंट्री और स्टडी के लिए टेलर्ड हैं, आप वहां से खरीद भी सकते हैं. एंड यूज कोड Saifoo टू गेट 22% ऑफ योर फर्स्ट परचेज. द एंडिंग पार्ट इज द कंक्लूजन, एंड हियर यू हैव टू शो द एंथुसियाज्म. The reader should feel that you are actually looking forward to study there, and write this in a convincing tone. For example, I look forward to study in your university, ting ting ting. I'm awaiting for your response, ting ting ting. You can talk about why you believe you are a good fit for the program. For example, ting ting ting. I'd love to be a part of your studies as it will allow me to ting ting ting. Once you have created the structure, the second part is to start to write. Please write in parts, create good paragraphs. And once you have written it, take a sleep and do one iteration every day for the next 5 to 7 days. The next section is about formatting your motivation letter. You should look into word limit and character limit specifically for the school because the requirements are different for everybody. There could be a word limit or sometimes there could be a page limit. So definitely look out for that. The second thing is paragraphing. Let's assume your motivation letter is 2-page long, divided into good 14 to 18 paragraphs. And last is the formatting. Please keep a font size of 12. Font maybe keep Times New Roman, and for margins keep some space. Also look out for spacing. Sometimes it's double spaced or single spaced. Why is formatting important? Because formatting अगर सही नहीं होगी तो स्कूल बगैर पढ़े रिजेक्ट कर देगा. And your letter should sound more like a story. And at the end, some tips. Don't overdo it. Don't fabricate information. Do not copy. Please don't copy it from someone else because it destroys the natural flow of ideas. Don't use cliches or vague words like globalization, way of life, land of opportunities, and some generic words. The school wants to see a person and not a student. So maybe you can talk about some growth, something about innovation, and maybe show your creativity. Always read for the school instructions. The formatting is very important before starting to write your motivation letter. Improvise. The structure which I have told you has no hard or fast rule, and merge the knowledge of your academics and work experience. Take your time. Don't do it in one day. Do it at least in a week and do at least 7 iterations. Tailor your motivation letter to the degree of your interest. And last but not the least, make it more readable, because universities receive hundreds of letters and yours should be easy to read. And last, use good vocabulary. Use well-phrased sentences, use good grammar and metaphors. And that is all. Please note that motivation letter for your university application, your scholarship or your job applications are completely different. ये structure आप हर किस्म के motivation letter पे apply नहीं कर सकते. Always get a second opinion on your motivation letter. Ask a mentor or a senior to help you out. If you want to get your motivation letters checked, drop me an email, or maybe if you have any questions, comment under the video and I'm sure we will help you out. At the end, I would like to say I have created a 15-minute full course video about how to study in Germany. Click here and go and watch it.